Alright, hi guys, welcome back to PKFX YouTube trading channel. So today is Saturday and the market is closed. So we'll be doing our weekly game plan for the pairs that I'm interested in trading for the upcoming week. So I've pretty much lined up and shortlisted my personal preferences, and I have like about 10 different currency pairs over here that I'm interested in looking at for potential buy or sell in the upcoming days, right, when the market opens. So I'll start off immediately with AUDJPY. So AUDJPY, the weekly has been trending bullish throughout, and right now the weekly, this is the higher high and this is the higher low, so technically it's bullish, very strong upward momentum. So the daily has also printed bullish price action. This is the higher high and this is the higher low. So weekly bullish, daily bullish. The 4-hour, however, have pretty much printed bearish candlestick, and ever since it created this new lower low and the lower high, you can see that the market has only been ranging within this region without breaking the lower low nor breaking the higher high, forming a new higher high. So technically the weekly is a buy, the daily is a buy, but the 4-hour is a sell, and we are at the highest point. And because we are at the highest point, and I see that the last week has been pretty much technically this is some sort of an indecision candle, not really a doji like, it could have been even smaller to form a doji, but this is still pushing towards the upside. But I see that the round psychological number of 114.000 is also coming pretty close, and right now it's acting as a resistance. So this is forming into a high risk counter trend trade, which we took last week as well. So it looks like very similar setup to me. I see this as a very strong 4-hour area where it has been holding as not really a support, not do it as a resistance. I would say that the market is technically still ranging. It's very, very risky to take a counter trend sell trade to go against weekly and daily. But I'm also looking closely at how the market is going to open up in the upcoming days. Because if I drop down to the lower time frames, the weekly pretty much has turned into a sell. Sorry, the 30 minutes candlestick has pretty much turned into a sell. The 1-hour candlestick has also turned into a sell and then it closed. The 2-hour candlestick is technically still a buy, but the 4-hour candlestick is a sell. So for me to be confident with this, I need to see the market open to range still a little bit, probably push a little down, and then come back and retest this particular box over here. That will give me a strong indication that the market is going to trend downwards. However, I do see that the 4-hour EMA has been building upwards. This can be very difficult to break past through, but if it does, then the market is going to literally drop from here, because when I zoom out on the daily EMA is right here. There's ample of correction to be made. And if I go to the weekly, it's way down here. The market has been trending upwards, and it has been trending upwards for a very long time. The only pullback I saw was this and this, which is technically not a sufficient strong amount of pullback before the market can continue to rally upwards, right? But to do the counter trend trade is against this very strong upward momentum. So we have to be careful over here. We need further confirmation before we can take any sort of trades for AUDJPY. But yeah, AUDJPY, this is what I'm looking at for a sell. Now moving on to USDCAD. Let me go to the weekly. So USDCAD weekly, this is the higher high and this is the higher low. Technically, weekly is a buy. And if I go to daily is a very clear sell. This is the lower low, this is the lower high. So it's a very clear sell. Just only started making some sort of a pullback, but I see heavy rejections over here itself. Ideally, we want to at least pull back to retest this daily EMA or back to this area to look like at least a good amount of retracement before continuing the trend downwards. But this seems to be a very small pullback before eventually running down. So once again, this seems like a risky trade as well. I see the 4-hour is a buy, right? and the 4 hour, this is the higher high and this is the higher low, and it has rejected the 4 hour EMA, and then the market, this candle, so this is the interesting part, right? I see a clear uptrend that got rejected by the 4 hour EMA, and then when the market tried to come back again, it clearly rejected the round psychological number of 1.37000. So this could have been a very strong liquidity grab before the market continues to rally downwards. So for me, looking at this sort of momentum, any sort of pullback over here, I would want to sell the market. But of course, I need to check for lower time frame confirmations for entry signal. But this can act as a better sell compared to AUDJPY. AUDJPY, just now when I said sell, this is technically based on the higher, the highest point out here, and the weekly candlestick being at the highest point, and I'm expecting for a pullback. So this is based on the candle position. USDCAD, on the other hand, looks like a pretty decent trade. So USDCAD, I'm looking for some sort of retracement before I can sell with lower time frame confirmation for a good 1 to 2 risk to reward, whereby this area will start acting as a resistance, and then the EMA will come in as a resistance, and the round psychological number will come in as a resistance as well. So this is what I'm looking at. I gotta also bear in mind that any move of the candle from below should be pushed back down as well, unless it breaks clearly above and then comes back and retests from above, and then it can consider to be acting as a support. Right now, I still consider this region as a resistance region. Therefore, this is an ideal trade for me, a bit risky as well, because weekly is buy, so this is going against the weekly trend, but only up to this distance, and eventually I want to buy to follow the weekly trend as well. So that's USDCAD. Now moving on to USDCHF. Okay, so USDCHF on a weekly candlestick pattern, I can see that it has been trending down and down and down. Any sort of pullback has been pushed downwards. Any sort of pullback has been pushed downwards. This sort of pushback has been pushed downwards. And the last few weeks, this was a beautiful bullish candle, followed by a doji candle that came all the way to the weekly EMA, tested this, and this held as a resistance, followed by a strong bearish candle, another strong bearish candle, right? So last week was a pullback. I see it as a retest of this daily structure points over here to confirm as a resistance, and hopefully it can push down, and I would like to take profit before this particular structure point comes into play. So if I go to, because the weekly is a sell, so this is clearly the lower low, this is clearly the lower high, so weekly trend is a sell. This trade is technically with the weekly, right? However, the daily, I believe, is a buy. So for the daily, 1 second. Okay, so daily is a buy. This is the higher low, this is the higher high, right? So it's uptrend right now. This was coming down, right? So we had the lower high, and this was the lower low, lower high, lower low, and this candle broke this structure point, eventually creating a higher high, and it closed over here. Now the beauty of this particular trade is that the daily EMA acted as a resistance. This candle tried to close above, but the next day candle immediately closed below pretty significantly, almost not really engulfing yet, but almost closing out this candle. So I believe this daily EMA is going to hold as resistance. If I go to the 4-hour candlesticks, it's also a buy right now. So if I were to sell, I need this candle to break below this 4-hour EMA as well to change the 4-hour trend from a buy into a sell when it creates a new lower low, right? This line that I've drawn over here, the moment it is broken and the moment the 4-hour candlestick closes below this point, it now turns into a sell, making this as the lower high and this new zone wherever it's going to break as the lower low. So any sort of pullback thereafter, all right, will be a good selling point for me, because now this whole area is going to act as a resistance. You already have the daily EMA coming in. You'll also have the 4-hour EMA coming in. So you have ample of reasons to say, hey, this is a significant location where I can actually consider a break and a retest in order to sell, which is same as my weekly trend. So I would consider this as my primary option, USDCHF. USDCAD, I'm also looking closely as my second option, followed by AUDJPY because it's at a very high point, right? Now, next trade will be GBPAUD, and GBPAUD, if I go on a weekly basis, it had a strong weekly push, reasonable pullback, but followed by a continuation pattern. So right now, weekly, this is the lower low and this is the lower high. Let me zoom in and you can see clearly, this is the lower low, this is the lower high. Technically, it's a sell. On a weekly scale, it is a sell. And if I go on a daily scale, this was the buy, right? This was the higher high, this was the higher low, and market did not break below, market did not break above. Therefore, the market has been having a good amount of pullback, right? Daily is still a buy. And if I go to the 4-hour candlestick, this is also a buy. Market was ranging over here, but the moment the market break with this candle and closed over here, now this became a buy, with this being the higher high and this being the higher low. This movement was something that I was predicting when the market was ranging over here, for the market to make the pullback to come back to this region. However, it took longer than expected in this ranging position before it can come back over here. So I see that the pattern now, last week it didn't pull back, so at least this week it's probably going to be pulling back. If it pulls back, then if I go to the daily candlestick, this is what I'm trying to achieve, right? So I'm trying to achieve some sort of a pullback and then push down further, whereby the daily EMA is also coming down, right? The round psychological number of 1.90,000 also acts as a resistance. This weekly structure points can also, if I go to the weekly candlestick, you can see that when it comes back to this weekly area, this box that I've drawn, this structure points, if I zoom in, this area can also act as some sort of a resistance, probably wick slightly above and then come back and eventually push the market to continue to trend downwards. Now, it may be too much to ask in a single 1 week candle, right? Probably for this to happen, it can even be next week completely is just buffering over here. The following week, maybe some sort of a push, and then the third week probably push downwards. So this could play out in a pretty long time frame as well. Maybe this is asking too much from the market. So all I could say is we need to keep a watch, right? See what happens next. And usually why I always say it's a probability is because there's a lot of things going on from a fundamental standpoint, from news perspective, political uncertainties, whatever that Trump is going to tweet, on the weekends. All this will be reflected immediately when the market opens. So the last thing I know is the market could literally fly up, hitting the stop loss, or literally go down, hitting the TP as well. Best thing to do is just to have some sort of a target, some plan, and let the market open, let the Tokyo session, Asia session, let that play out first. And then come the London session, when you get a good amount of volume pumping in, you'll have some sort of a reasonable understanding on the market direction, right? So that's a GBP AUD for a potential sell, which is pro-trend trade with the weekly, but immediate daily and 4-hour is a buy. So I'm waiting for the 4-hour to change as a sell and then enter the market. I'm sorry, this 4-hour will still be most probably a buy. By the time it pulls back over here, it is still a buy. Yeah, it's going to be a bit difficult for the 4-hour to turn into a sell. So at that point of time, I need to look at the lower time frame. If the lower time frame is shifting and I choose to enter for a sell, it's going to go against the 4-hour and the daily. That's the GBP AUD pair. Moving on to EURJPY on a weekly basis. Okay, so EURJPY was the pair that I was trading last week before the market closed. I actually closed out this particular trade, and I'll explain why and also what I'm expecting this week. So on a weekly basis, it was a buy. This was the higher high and this was the higher low. And after this very strong bullish pattern, candlestick pattern, it formed an indecision doji candle, this red candlestick over here. So I was expecting some sort of a strong push towards the downside to at least come to this region, right? But my take profit was up here as well. So I was expecting it was going to be somehow the reasonable take profit However, the market didn't even do what I wanted it to do. It has been very slow, and the market still closed as another indecision candle. So technically this still looks like a doji to me. And if I really zoom in, right, it didn't close above this previous candle, creating a new higher high as well. So no, this still remains as the highest point, and this was the indecision doji candle, and this also looks somewhat similar to an indecision doji candle, right? So maybe this week it may pull back. So if I go to daily, the daily structure point, this is the higher high and this is the higher low I've marked over here. And as you can see over here, this is the blue line that I drew, saying that, hey, I'm expecting the market to pull all the way up to here, and I was aiming for a 1 to 2 risk to reward. However, the market didn't even do that, and I actually only got 0.44 profits. I would say a very small profit. Actually, I closed, you can see the comment over here, I closed with a very small TP over here because I don't want to lose this winning trade. If I go to the 4-hour candlestick to understand better what happened, so upon entry, the market did a push down and then broke the 4-hour EMA, came back, retest the EMA, pushed back further down, and then the market was somewhere around here when I was expecting the market to continue to push downwards. But at that point of time, I technically moved my stop loss to be somewhere around 186.970, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere here, and I wanted the market to run. However, it was already Friday night about 10:45 p.m. my time over here, and the market was about to close in the next 1 hour, and I didn't see any sort of rally downwards. In fact, it started pulling upwards. It was still playing around this 4-hour EMA, and that gave me an understanding that the market is not going to do anything much, and I'd rather close it first and secure at least a small amount of profit. I'd rather do that than to hold over the weekend, and when the weekend ends and when next week when the market opens, I do not want the market to have a sudden spike up and have some sort of a overnight weekend gap that has happened previously, right? So instead of a winning trade, this would have ended up as a losing trade. Now, can the market open and suddenly, instead of having a strong candle to the upside hitting the stop loss, it has a very strong candle to the downside hitting the TP? Well, yeah, it can definitely happen, right? So that is where the decision making process comes into play. Do you want to risk it further, paying the high swap fees over the weekends just to hold for an uncertainty whether it's going to go up or down? I rather close the market and secure that small profits, and when the market opens back, I'm probably going to just see how it trades. If the market pulls back again, maybe I can get another opportunity to sell back again. So it really depends on what the market is going to do, but I'd rather close it like that than to risk my capital, and there's ample of trades out there that I can reuse this capital elsewhere. So for me right now, capital preservation is number one. As long as I'm securing some sort of a profit, and if I can secure the capital without losing on that trade, I can always reuse that capital for another trade. There will always be another trade, right? So that's EURJPY. I'm not really decided on what to do for this trade. I'm just going to observe if this closure over here was a good one. If the market opens and then it hits the stop loss, then it was a good closure. If the market opens and it hits the take profit, then technically it's not a good closure, and it is what it is, right? End of the day, we decide how we want to spend our money on, right? However, having said all that stuff, my stand still stands over here for the direction of this market. Now that it is already here, let me just adjust the arrow. I'm expecting the market to still do some sort of a pullback before rallying upwards. I don't know if I'll get that, but that is my expectation for this particular market, because the daily EMA is also going up. So probably it's not going to go all the way down. Probably the retest will be somewhere around here. It really depends on how the market will open, and I'll continue to monitor this particular trade accordingly. If it pulls all the way down here, retest this daily structure point and then bounce back, now that will be a pro trend trade, which is the ideal scenario that you want to trade, right? Knowing that it's EURJPY and JPY pair is going to continue to weaken, so therefore it's going to continue to go upwards, right? We want to be able to catch the pro trend trade. So that's EURJPY. Currently it's already closed. Any pullback to this 4-hour location, I may look for a sell, but any push downwards over here, I may look for a buy. Alright, so moving on to Euro AUD on the weekly. So Euro AUD. Okay, so on the weekend, on the weekly, it's a sell, and if I go to the daily, it is a clear buy. The EMA is coming down as well. So I remember this trade, I was saying that it really depends when the market pulls to this area. If it breaks above and then retests this daily EMA, making it as a support, then you want to buy. But if it gets rejected to the EMA and starts moving down, then it's a sell. This is something that we were aiming for last week, but as you can see, the candles were literally just buffering in this region. We never really got the pullback. Daily is still bullish, and 4-hour I believe is still bullish as well. Yeah, right now it's bullish, and I expect the 4-hour to continue to be bullish. And if it breaks this 4-hour EMA, then it's going to rally all the way up here, right? And at that point of time, when it comes here, that will be my decision making point. Now, can the market like not come here and continue to rally down? If I zoom out on the weekly, probably it could even do that. It could say that this was the only pullback I had, and I'm going to just continue to rally downwards, right? So that's why we can't really decide anything yet. For now, all I could say is we need to wait for the daily candlesticks to close out. So this is not an immediate Monday trade. Probably this is going to be Tuesday or Wednesday by the time it reaches over here. See how it plays out. Again, if it's above, if it breaks above, reconfirms from above to below, then you buy. If it gets rejected down here at the round psychological number of 1.66000 and the daily EMA acts as a resistance, then you want to look for a sell. So that is Euro AUD. And then moving on to EURGBP. EURGBP, the weekly candlestick. Now here I see a very beautiful shoulder, head, shoulder, and a retest, and now a push downwards, right? Now this is a head and shoulders and a retest pattern, but it's on a weekly basis. So to expect for an immediate sell may be too much, mainly when the weekly EMA is now coming in and has actually acted as a support. The market tried to break below, but it actually closed above. So I don't care about the week, I only care about the candle closure. It closed above, making this weekly EMA still as a support, and the round psychological number 0.86500 is still below, so still acting as a support. Therefore, for me to enter some sort of a continuation sell pattern, the market has to break below, retest before I can push downwards, right? So maybe in the weekly candle it will just look like a strong down candle, but if I look on a daily candle, so I would need a Monday or Tuesday to open below and probably retest before it can push downwards. Daily is a sell, so that is in our direction as well. And the 4-hour is also currently a sell, right? So in 4-hour candlestick pattern, if I were to zoom in a little bit, so this is what I want the market to do, to actually come below, break below this round psychological number, and then retest back again, making this whole box over here as a resistance, and then eventually push back downwards. So I don't see that as something that can immediately happen. Probably Monday, Tuesday, and then the market lines up to it. Once again, the market can do whatever it wants to do. What we can do is just continue to watch the candlestick pattern, how it's forming. Every single candlestick that is, forming, it's technically like the missing piece of the puzzle that keeps getting add on before you can actually clearly see the pattern that it is actually forming, right? But yeah, this particular trade, everything seems to be aligned to a sell, weekly sell, daily sell, 4-hour sell. Therefore, I need a break below, retest for me to continue to sell. That is EURGBP. Moving on to AUDCAD. If I go to the weekly candlestick, this is also at a very high point, right? If I zoom in, so this is the weekly higher high, weekly higher low. So weekly is a buy. Daily is, this is the higher high and this is the higher low. Daily is a buy, and I see the daily EMA has been growing slowly over here. I need some sort of a pullback to retest the daily EMA before a continuation rally towards the upside. This is what I'm expecting. The 4-hour candlestick, technically right now, it is a sell, right? This is the lower low, and this is technically the clear lower high, right? So for it to come to my region of interest, I need it to pull back all the way down here and then create a lower time frame entry signal for me to be able to enter. So AUDCAD, I'm looking for a buy. If I zoom out to the daily candlestick pattern, you can see why, right? I want it to pull back over here and then rally. Now, can it stop over here and just continue to rally rather than pulling back all the way down here? Definitely, because I see some reasonable amount of structure points over here that has created a daily support over here, this region over here. So the market, the last thing you know, it can just come to this region and then consolidate, and then it can just push upwards as well. Not necessarily it has to come all the way down here. So I can only assess when the market comes over here and if I need to adjust the risk to reward at that point of time. So AUDCAD is a buy. Next, NZDCAD. NZDCAD on a weekly basis. Let me check. Okay, so NZDCAD on a weekly basis. This is the lower low and this is the lower high. So weekly is a sell. It had a reasonable pullback. The weekly EMA is now acting as a resistance. The round psychological number of 0.81000 is also acting as a resistance, and the market pushed back downwards. Right now I see, sorry, my bad, weekly is a buy actually. If I zoom in, yeah, so this structure point, if I were to zoom in properly, this structure point did not break this structure point, right? So I've marked this as the higher low, and if I were to zoom out over here, this is the higher high, right? So weekly is a buy, right? And then daily is also a buy. This is the higher high, this is the higher low. And then if I go to the 4-hour candlestick, technically for now it's a buy, right? So over here, if I were to sell, that is counter trend trade, right? So again, why a sell? Why the counter trend trade? Because I see this head and shoulders pattern and a retest of the neckline before pushing downwards. Now, maybe this trade has already played out, but I see any sort of pullback to this 4-hour zone, right? Over here, this box over here, and then a rejection that can give me a reasonable sell as well, right? With the stop loss being like about 48 pips if I set from here in this region, where if it comes and retests and then push back downwards, now the 4-hour EMA can act as a resistance for me. If I go to the daily candlestick pattern, right? The daily candlestick pattern, if I were to zoom in, you can see is also coming in as a resistance for me. So there is these things that can act as a resistance, and even the weekly, if I see the weekly, is also coming in as a resistance. So I have the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour EMA to act as some sort of a resistance for me. So at this point of time, if I choose to buy to be a pro trend trade, I need to go pass through all this before I can TP. So I believe this will act as a resistance. Therefore, here selling may be a better option as a counter trend trade. The catch here is it has to pass through this next region of support, has to break past through a very strong round psychological number of 0.80,000. So there's a lot of challenges both sides, but between pro trend or counter trend, I see that the counter trend seems to be more reasonable because of this head and shoulders and a retest pattern that indicates a downward momentum, and that has been happening in the 4-hour candlestick pattern, right? So this is not one of my immediate best trades, that's why I put it down here, but I'm still looking at this one, NZDCAD, to be a counter trend sell. AUDUSD being the last pair that I'm interested in. Now this one, the weekly, this is the higher high, this is the higher low, so weekly is a buy. Daily candlestick, this is the higher high and this is the higher low, so daily is also a buy. And I see that the EMA has been growing upwards, so I need some sort of a pullback to test the daily EMA before I can have the market to continue to rally upwards. and the 4-hour right now has been forming a downtrend. Any break below this 4-hour EMA, I believe the market is going to continue to rally downwards until it breaks significantly below this box and then retest. We cannot say for sure it's going to come all the way down. The last thing you know that the market has already clearly broken above and it's just retesting this area. It can also just continue to push all the way up as well. But again, like if we have a plan and the market does what we are planning it to do, then we enter the trade, right? So that's AUD USD. I'm still looking for a buy for here, but I'm going to let the candlestick to play out for me. So essentially, it's all probability game, right? What we can do is select our currency pairs, estimate whether it's gonna go on the buy direction or sell direction based on the probabilities that we see from our end, whatever edge that we have, and whatever market that plays in our favor, we further monitor that for an entry. And any market that doesn't meet our criteria, if it goes straight to stop loss, then it's okay, leave it be, right? So that's why we have like 10 currency pairs, and we'll probably pick 2 or 3 trades for the following week. So a very quick update over here. So USDCHF, once again, I'm looking for a sell. USDCAD, I'm looking for a sell, right? AUDJPY, also I'm looking for a sell. If it's gonna retest this 4-hour base, then I'm looking for a sell. These are counter trend trades. GBPAUD, also I'm looking for a sell, right? EURJPY, here I will let the market to play out, see what it does. If it goes above this 4-hour region again and shows like some sort of rejection, I may enter back again for a sell. But essentially I want the market to come all the way down before I can go for a pro trend buy. Euro AUD, I need the market to come all the way up here so that the daily, this area will be the deciding factor. If a break above and a retest for a buy, if a test below and rejected, for a sell. EURGBP, like what we discussed, I need the market to break below, retest before I can push for a continuation sell, right? AUDCAD, I need the market to pull back over here before I can buy. NZDCAD, at the 4-hour, I need the market to make some sort of a pullback before I can sell, which is pretty risky because it's counter trend trade. And then lastly, AUD USD, I need the market to pull back before I decide if I can continue to buy. So that is pretty much the 10 trades up here, and let's see how the market opens. So thank you so much for your time, guys, and have a good trading day ahead. Take care.